everyone, it's Lorelai, and welcome to another RPG Maker with tutorial. In the last video, we added a simple puzzle to our dungeon where the player needs to place an orb on a pedestal to open up the gate to the final boss. Now that we've got everything working for the most part, it's a good time to add some decorative elements to our dungeon. Now we can see how some of this looks. So let's add some crystal waters up here and maybe even a waterfall. The water has this crystal border to it, so I'm going to add just a little bit of crystal here so it blends a little nicely just around the water. And let's add one more little waterfall right here. This one's going to be much smaller. Maybe we can also add some crystal in front of the gate, make it look a little bit more official. And then I want the pedestal to be able to be noticed and seen pretty easily. So I'm going to add this floor type underneath, and we might not even be able to see it. But as long as there's at least a subtle difference around this thing, it's gonna call it out and it's gonna make it a lot easier to notice for the player. Short of actually using one of these arrows and literally pointing to the pedestal. Tile set B has these beautiful crystals that we're going to sprinkle around our dungeon just as proof that this is indeed the crystal caves. But before we do that, let's make some more of this crystal floor. I actually really do like it. I think it's really pretty. Now I can put these little crystals places. Be careful where you put the crystals because you do not want to block off the character. For example, right here, there's only one tile passage around this pillar that's in the middle. I wouldn't want to put a crystal here because that will block the character. And it's true, they can just walk around, but it's a little annoying, right? Then I want to use these big crystals. And we forgot a wall here. And I'm going to forget to add it if I don't do it right now. Something that I like to do is to grab the top of this 2-tile tall crystal or whatever and use this for the bottoms of the map like that. So it kind of looks like it's peeking up. I'm also going to place these little gem clusters in some areas. This is the type of tile that shouldn't necessarily be noticeable, but it adds a certain texture to the map. Now I'm going to add some vines that are going to go up the cave walls, and this is just going to add a little bit of color that's not purple and pink, just a splash of green, and this is just going to add decoration to the walls. You can do the same with these crack marks. If you want, you could make them actually part of the puzzle. Perhaps there's a crack in the wall that you can actually go in and open, turn it into one of these larger cracks. But for our dungeon, these cracks are just going to be for decoration. We don't want to go overboard with the decoration, so if you want to go through these tiles and see what else will work for you, definitely go for it. But for our dungeon, I think we're mostly finished. One last thing we can do to make this dungeon pretty is to go to events. Let's make a new event. It can be anywhere you want. The trigger will be auto run. And under event details, we are going to tint the screen. And this is a quick and easy way to add ambiance to our cave. If we turn down these values, it's going to get darker. So let's change red to -40. Green can be -50. And blue's going to be -40. So what I'm hoping this will do is make the cave darker, but by making the values of blue and red higher than green, I'm hoping it's going to give it a purplish hue. Change the time to 1 frame and wait until the end is fine. Then press OK. Now this is an auto run event that we're going to want to auto run every time we enter this map. So instead of saying turn self switch A to on, which will get rid of the events anytime you enter the map, what we're going to do is go to character, erase event. So it will auto fire and then erase itself, but every time we enter this map, it's going to auto fire again before erasing itself. And we'll press OK. Now let's check out the map and see how it looks. Very cool. What do you guys think? Before we end this video, let's quickly add some transfers to this map so we can get in and out of it. So the entrance to the dungeon is all the way down here. Gonna make a new event. Below character, make it player touch. Go down to move, transfer player, and we're going to go to map 001, which is our overworld map. And let's just go directly in front of this cave and say our direction is left. Then we are going to go to our map list, go to map 001, hover over our cave over here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure priority is below character, trigger is player touch, and this is going to transfer our player to Crystal Cave all the way to the bottom, right here. Say our direction is up. So let's quickly test that transfer and go down here. And it transferred us, but the tint is still there and it's still playing the background music. And it takes us back to the cave just fine. So let's fix that. First, for our world map, we're going to go to Edit Map Information. And the best way to stop the background music from playing is to simply overwrite it with another background song. So let's make our overworld music. Field 3 sounds nice. Next, we're gonna go to our Crystal Cave, go down to our transfer event, and then before we are transferred, simply go down to screen, tint screen, and keep it all at 0. This is gonna turn it back to the default. And under time, let's just go ahead and say 1. Okay. In the next video, we're going to make our dungeon a little more interesting with traps and environmental hazards. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more RPG Maker videos. I will see you in the next one.